Hello folks, welcome to a fresh new batch of content from us at Curated. This month we've been talking a lot about video, so we figured it was about time that we made one. Namely, one that talks about the differences in filming when filming inside
and outside.
So today's lesson really is going to build upon what we already learned from last week's infographic,
which we're going to pop up back on the screen in case you haven't seen it already.
Okay, so the good news is the rule of thirds still applies whether you're inside or outside. So today we're going to talk mainly about light and colour, and this all starts with our exposure really. But before we get into that, something we don't talk about in this infographic that's vital to filming outside and inside is white balance. When we look at these images, we as human beings understand that both of these pages are white. However, the camera doesn't understand this in the manner that we do, and if we look at these images a little closer, we can see why. We can see that these are actually two fundamentally different colours. We can see here that the footage on the right hand side is a colder colour, whereas the indoor footage is warmer, creating two very different shades of white. What white balancing does is calibrate the camera to understand this colour as absolute white. And when we do so, this has a knock-on effect on all the colours the camera understands. Now that the shot's recalibrated, it's just a matter of controlling our exposure. Exposure essentially starts and ends with your aperture and your ISO. Generally, you get a more even source of light outdoors than you do indoors, for obvious reasons. So aperture and exposure can be a little lower since you aren't trying to make the most of directional light. So as you can see here, the outside footage gets a little bit too bright at higher ISO settings. And contrastingly, you may want higher ISO settings for indoor filming, and control your aperture as is necessary in order to get the most out of directional light in the room and light up those darker areas.
and that's really all there is to it. Just play around with your camera and figure out the kind of settings that work best for you. Alternatively, if you'd like to know what we could do for your video offering, just give us a shout. We'd be happy to help.